I am Slick Nick. You're watching this video because you want to learn what this guy eats over the course of the average day. And I'm very excited and proud to share this information with you because this is part of my journey. I have been literally journaling my meal plan over the past year, trying to get all the numbers, all the macros right. And it's interesting because now at age 40, I can tell you, go back a decade ago, I had gone kosher, no pork or shellfish, and then vegetarian. And then most of my 30s I was vegan. And then I tried to get into the macros thing, but I wasn't disciplined enough because I didn't quite understand it. Then I was keto for the last year. Well, where I'm at now, I would say on the average given day, it's almost like I start out pescatarian and then I just end up vegetarian by the end of the day. That's sort of the course that you'll see here. However, I'm remaining open-minded to eating meat beyond that, but just not on a regular basis, ultimately because I feel this regimen really makes it easy and fun for me to be able to remain in a caloric deficit while still getting the high amount of protein I'm aiming for as well as fiber. So let me start with that part of it. So what you're about to see here is going to be putting me in a range between 1,700 and 1,900 calories per day. And that's going to average 159 grams of complete protein. And currently I weigh about 157, 158 pounds. So what I'm doing there is I'm matching grams of complete protein to how many pounds I weigh, grams to pounds. And then this has put me at somewhere around 30 grams of fiber. Ideally, I want to get that number a little bit higher. I'm really kind of aiming for like 48, but that's where I'm at right now. So this is the baseline. This will evolve. I'll find ways to perfect this even more. But ultimately, I'm staying in that caloric deficit between 1,700 and 1,900. The concept is, of course, if I were to make that deficit a little bit bigger, I would be able to lose more body fat, but then I wouldn't be consuming enough protein and probably fiber in order to be able to grow muscle mass while I'm attempting to still cut body fat. So here we go. You're gonna see ultimately something that looks largely vegetarian while getting plenty of protein. Gonna have a little bit of fish in there at times and other meat, just not as often. And ultimately it's still kind of keto because you're gonna notice that when I do mention carbs, I'm really just mentioning fiber. So here we go, let's get started. When I wake up in the morning, I set my alarm for 5:15 a.m. Usually I'll wake up right before that anyway. And what I'll do, look at this thing, this is awesome. So if I drink 2 of these a day, that's over a gallon of water. Yes, over a gallon of water. So I try to drink about half of this when I first wake up just to get hydrated first thing. Then I'll go over to our espresso machine and I'll make a separate video showing you what that's like. But what I do for that is I make myself a cup of coffee in the morning. I add a teaspoon of MCT oil. That's only gonna be about 40, 45 calories, just for a teaspoon, not a tablespoon. I also put a scoop of these collagen peptides in here too, because this is preparing me to go to the gym. And then I'll put just a little bit, I mean, not even worth measuring, unsweetened Almond Breeze vanilla almond milk. It's 30 grams for a serving, but I'm doing more, probably like 5. So I have my coffee, then I drive to the gym. I'm there between 45 minutes and an hour. I go 6 days a week. I always have one designated off day. I drive back to the house and then I go on an average of about a 30-minute brisk walk. Low impact cardio, not running, because the walking actually helps slim down the body fat better than running does, even though it burns less calories. So then I come back at 8 o'clock. Here's what I'm doing. I'm doing a can of this tuna right here. This is 30 grams of protein right here. I have a serving of kimchi every day. I love kimchi. And a lot of this, again, fiber, probiotics, good for your gut health. So then this is a new discovery. And I learned this from watching Jim and Fridge on Men's Health on YouTube. So these, Wasa Light Rye, okay? So it's just 2 crackers. They're about the size of a graham cracker. 2 of these is only 40 calories, but it's got 4 grams of fiber. I mean, that's a lot of fiber for just 2 crackers. So I have that. And then in my tuna, I'll put some Himalayan salt, some black pepper in there. I douse it in Tabasco. I've been doing this Chipotle kind of make it like barbecue. Then I add some habanero sauce in there as well. And then I douse it in mustard. So it's good. You know, out of all the things I eat, you could say that's the most challenging as far as taste-wise. But I like to just do that right after my workout, 8 o'clock. I'm divvying up my protein an average of about $30 grams of protein a pop as we're progressing. And I'm aiming to have a solid 3 hours before I hit the next part of the protein here. So actually, 9 o'clock, I add a little bit more protein. So I go with the serving of this Oikos. It is non-fat yogurt. I'm not afraid of fat, but as I'm counting calories, I want to make my fat count in other ways. So this is only 100 calories, and it's 18 grams of protein. So in this, and I have that 3 times a day because it's one of my favorite things I eat. So I'm like, yogurt and fruit and a little bit of nuts. Let's do that 3 times a day. I love it. So like for in the morning, I'll have a banana. This is slow digesting starch. So even though it's got higher sugar, it's got good fiber, and the way I feel better when I eat a banana. It really helps balance me out. And then with the banana, I'll put in just a sprinkle of these almonds. And what I do when I have cheese or nuts, I just season it. That's all it is. It's enough to get a little bit of fat in there, a little bit of taste, but without, you know, having 200 calories worth of nuts. So there we go. That's what I do at 9. Then at 10, I'm back to the coffee. I do another cup of coffee, this time without the MC2 oil, and still another dose of the collagen there. So then, usually by noon, then I'll start focusing on, okay, I need to eat more protein, because remember, it was about 8 o'clock that I had that 30 grams here and then an extra 18 there. So usually by noon, I'm ready for some more protein. So what I'll do is I will have 4 eggs. These are free range. That's what I care most about with my eggs. I want those dark yolks. I want them to be nearly orange. So I'll have 4 eggs, and you can tell that I'm keto based because I'm not afraid of fat and cholesterol. And then I cook them in a tablespoon of avocado oil. And then I kind of make it like a burrito as I do it. I put a serving of nutritional yeast, there's more fiber in there for me. Kind of make it like an omelet where that's the main part. And then I salt and pepper, and then I put regular Tabasco sauce there. So that's you could say that's my official lunch. But then I'll give it about an hour, kind of like I did with the first batch protein. Let's throw a little bit more protein and fiber on there. So then after about an hour after I eat my official lunch, then I go back to yogurt. You're seeing this pattern here, right? Protein, coffee, protein, yogurt. So for my second yogurt, again, another serving of this. This is a third of a cup. What I'll do is I'll add a different type of fruit. So I keep plenty of frozen fruit in the fridge. So like blueberries, cherries, blackberries, and I'll just kind of mix it up wherever I feel like. But whatever the nut is, or whatever the fruit is, I add some kind of nut in there. So like for example, blueberries, I like to sprinkle a little bit of cashews on there. The bananas, actually often I'll do walnuts with the bananas. So walnuts, almonds, sometimes I'll do a seed instead, like chia seeds, or I'll do cacao nibs instead. But I'm always mixing a little bit of fat with the fruit that I put in the yogurt. So that gets through the afternoon. And then around 5:30, then I'm getting ready for dinner. And so this is where it gets interesting. So on the average given day, I will actually have 2 servings of cottage cheese. So that's an entire cup, which would be 220 calories and 26 grams of protein. I mean, that's as much calories and protein the average serving of meat, whether it was a piece of salmon or a piece of chicken. It's gonna be in that range of around 220, 250 calories and pushing around 30 grams of protein. So unless I have something else planned, like a piece of salmon, or like even tonight, my parents are coming to town, my mom's bringing in some vegetable beef soup. So while I wouldn't normally eat beef at this point, I allow for it. I have an allowance for that. But my daily routine would just be this would be my protein for dinner. And on top of that, a little bit of Himalayan salt and pepper. And then this is what's interesting. So my wife basically just cooks vegetarian in her house for dinner. So let's say that she was doing some kind of, maybe like the other day she did rice noodles with avocado sauce that she made. Okay, so I'm like, I need a 200 calorie allowance, but it'll still keep me in the deficit. So whether she's doing something like that, or maybe I'll decide to do a baked potato, which I've already baked once, which makes it starch resistant. And then I'll just put a little bit of virgin olive oil on there, a little bit of salt and pepper. I also, with my dinner, will have a half cup of sauerkraut, and usually in addition to that, either salad or some kind of vegetable like broccoli or Brussels sprouts, something like that. And then that's my dinner. And then, as the tradition goes, I need to wait a little bit and have a little bit more yogurt in there. So right when we get the kids to bed, around 8 o'clock, I come down stairs one more time and I go with another serving of the yogurt. And like, for example, cherries, especially when I'm doing heavy workout days, I know these can be good for recovery. So I'll do a serving of the cherries. And like I said, maybe maybe walnuts or cacao nibs or chia seeds, something like that. And then here's the real fun part. Right before I go to bed, yes, I have a can of this, Budweiser Select 55. It's extremely light beer. It's 55 calories, it's 1.9 carbs. And it's just that thing to help me relax enough to fall asleep quickly so that I don't get tempted to wake up and walk around and get something else to eat, just to help kind of get me through the night. And then also I'll drink some seltzer water, 0-calorie seltzer water too on top of that. And that's the perfect amount for me. So that way, in review, look at all that I eat into today. I feel it's full of protein, full of fiber. It's fun, I enjoy it. And I'm eating throughout the day, but never feeling bad about it. It's one of those things where what you eat is what's around you. Back when I was in the office, there was catered dinners, high calorie, there was donuts. Well, now that I'm working from home, I work from my kitchen table. So I have access to all of this. This is what I keep in front of me. Thanks for watching my video. I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments below.